I'd be 5 minutes. I'm going to click my timer now and do my best to stick to that. My name's Cole Evans. I'm the CEO of ENDURO Metals. Real quick, I will be making forward-looking statements, and please review this in good time. I'm going to try and keep it short, being that 5 minutes, and you'll see why. Who are we? It's a large group. I won't get into the exact all the different people in here for the sake of time and sort of skip over to the project. But we're right in the heart of the Golden Triangle, and this is a theory we call the equal area or pizza theory, as our director of communications so poetically put it. People draw the Golden Triangle up in northwestern British Columbia in a whole bunch of different ways, and how I kind of look at it is you can traditionally break it down into 5 historic camps that you see here. And I won't get into the numbers, but it's absolutely a world-class mining district and exploration district. The Newmont Lake project, which we have, we own 20% of, currently 100%. We have a 100% option on with Romeo's Gold for the remaining 80%. Within area is the total area is 618 square kilometers. So we're one of the largest landholders right in the heart of the Golden Triangle in this area that we feel is size-wise is really a camp in itself. In what I want to get in, the point with this slide is, everyone talks about how underexplored their projects are. Well, here's a quantifiable way to look at that. When we talk about ours, and I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves. And being a naturally curious person, my goal is to set out and wonder, well, why? Why is it like that? So zooming into Newmont Lake itself, in our main project, our only project, this is where 100% of our focus is, in the area that we've been amalgamating. I'm aside from being the CEO, I'm also the largest shareholder of the company. So it was extremely important to me, obviously, to get this land package put together the way we have it now. And why now? Well, if you look at the Golden Triangle, there's, beside the new discoveries that are being made constantly, a really important factor that I overlook often, but being the audience that we're speaking to doesn't get the opportunity to fly around this area like we do. There's billions of dollars in infrastructure that have gone in within the last 10 years, and that's critical. And if you look at our project as it sits right now, we've got road access now, both touching to the north and touching to the south, along with a $2 billion hydroelectric power plant that was just completed within the last few years on the southern end. So these factors are really important when we consider the mineral economics of the area in where we're talking about. Of course, our other neighbors, you have the Teck Newmont joint venture, Galore Creek, up to the northwest. Just off the page up to the northeast, you'd see the Newcrest Imperial Metals joint venture at Red Chris, along with GT Gold, which is now I think about 20% Newmont. And further down, of course, Eskay Creek was the, people think of it as the highest grade gold mine in the world during its production. If you actually look at the silver numbers, it was, I think, produced 180 million ounces of silver with a byproduct 3.3 million ounces of gold at an average of 45 grams per ton. So just absolute world-class numbers in itself. And then moving down to the south, you see KSM, Iron Cap project, Bruce Jack, and of course Tudor having a lot of success at Treaty Creek there this year. Keeping to my 5 minutes, frankly, it's impossible to talk about 618 square kilometers in the heart of the Golden Triangle in 5 minutes, but what's important, we got 4 distinct deposit environments, as you would see in ARC environments. We're going to talk about one of them very quickly, being that's what we're focused on right now, and where we've seen some recent success in the markets and with results on our high-grade gold, and that's along the McClymont Fault. The McClymont Fault is over 20-kilometer regional scale fault. This is the Newmont Lake graben structure. It's one of the largest structures of its kind in the Golden Triangle. We have the entire thing. And we started out with, you know, I put the more we know the past, the better prepared we are for the future. And that's exactly what we did when we first got involved into this, was put the data together. And we look back, and that, you know, the historic numbers sort of speak for themselves. Back in through 1987 to 1990, it came up with a small historic resource, all within 100 meters of surface. So the first thing I looked at, well, what's changed over those 35 years? You can look in, when you look into that, okay, it was calculated at $475 an ounce gold, you know, and all the other numbers that go in amongst that. And we're fortunate to walk in with being the first people to use 21st century technology in a systematic and empirical way to really build out, okay, what's going on here. There's more to the story. This is just a quick look at some of the examples. We just recently built the first lithological model, which helped with a lot of our targeting. A big press release that came out recently was 144 meters of 3.18 grams gold uncut. And what that ties into is the identification of 3 mineralization styles. And again, I'm just touching on it very quickly, but being in the Stikine volcanics, which is something unique in the Golden Triangle, a lot of people don't see, is we get these big skarn horizons. And so this was a hole that we drilled end of last year, where we hit 44 meters of 4 grams gold, along with your, so that's our skarn horizon. And then we get these high-grade feeder structures, again, the examples in here. But thinking about it in a broader sense, well, these are secondary, you know, epithermal skarn. It's part of a greater porphyry environment, of course, geologically, and that being, sorry, this image didn't come up so well. I'll skip over to the next one. What's the big picture? This is a long section through the historic Northwest Zone, so right along that McClymont Fault, as we were looking at before. And this long section is what really tells the story to me. You can see here we started our gold and interpolant modeling. This is all within 150 meters of surface that you see here, and identified through our geophysical models, our lithological models, that hey, this limestone horizon where we're getting consistent high-grade skarn, it's plunging down into the hill like that. Well, and how would it have been missed? Trying to, you know, we need to put ourselves into that mindset. Well, it's actually really quite simple. You can see the historic IP lines. Of course, they can only penetrate down 80, 100 meters back then. So if you're going naturally up the hill and your unit is plunging into the hill, it's going to look as if it dissipates. We want it to be really aggressive, and at the end of the day, it's the Golden Triangle. We don't want to find a little gold quarry. We want to find a big gold deposit. So we stepped out significantly with our first IP lines and picked up what we call the goldfish zone. Unconstrained just looks like a big goldfish in the geophysics, but directly along where we should, as our models were suggesting, this unit continues to plunge. And I'm just going to pop back. This is hopefully everyone can see it okay. It's a little pixelated, but a plan view of this area, we can see that we're actually already modeling gold out in our interpolants beyond where our geophysics we even have. Usually it's the opposite. So that's something we're working on, infilling this whole space here. But that's a 1,500 meter prospective horizon, and the numbers sort of speak for themselves. This has got some significant high grade within it. We do see lots of high grade visible gold near within the skarn. I think grades as high as 0.8 meters of around 900 grams gold. But we also have that consistent 188 meters of over a gram gold still.
Cole, how's your timer doing?
How's my timer doing? I am well over, so I'm going to skip through. We use lots of, yeah, I'm just going to touch a little bit on the end here. We're at 150 million shares outstanding, about a $45 million market cap. Just closed on a just over $11 million finance. As I mentioned myself, it's the largest shareholder, and we're really fortunate to have Rob McEwen involved as our second largest shareholder. So lots to come moving forward. with exploration going all through the season until Mother Nature tells us to leave.
Thank you, Cole. Appreciate it. Next, we're going to